Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea, one that's at the heart of the book, You Become What You Think. The big idea? That your thoughts literally create your reality. We're going to break down exactly how you can grab the controls of your own mind and start mastering your life. So, let's jump right in.
So let me start with a question for you. Think about it honestly. Are your thoughts working for you, or are you working for them? Do you direct your thoughts, or do they kind of just run the show? It seems simple, but the answer to that question is everything.
All right, first up, let's talk about being the architect of reality. This section really gets to the core of the problem most of us face without even realizing it, and, of course, the big shift in thinking that can change everything.
Sound familiar? You know, our minds are often like a ping pong ball, just bouncing endlessly between things we regret from the past and things we're worried about in the future. We're basically just passengers in our own heads, strapped in for a ride we can't seem to control.
But here's the absolute game changer. What if you didn't have to be a passenger? What if you could actually get in the driver's seat? That's the book's central message. You have the power. You are the architect of your own reality.
And listen, this is not some trendy new idea. This is ancient wisdom. The Buddha said it thousands of years ago. We are what we think. Our entire world, everything we experience, it's all built from the raw material of our thoughts. That quote just nails the creative power that we all have inside us.
So, okay, if our thoughts create our world, where do we even start? Well, it all begins with mastering the only moment that's actually real, the present. This is the foundation for everything else.
You know, this might sound super obvious, but when you really let it sink in, it's profound. The past, it's gone. It's just a collection of nows that have already happened. And the future? It's not real yet. It's just a bunch of nows waiting to arrive. The only place you have any power, the only place you can do anything, is right here, right now.
Eckhart Tolle really says it best here. When you really truly get that the present moment is all there is, you stop chasing ghosts from the past or worrying about phantoms in the future. You anchor yourself right where life is actually happening.
There's this fantastic Buddhist metaphor, the two darts, that explains this perfectly. The first dart, well, that's life. It's the unavoidable stuff. An accident, a tough breakup, losing a job. It happens and it hurts. But the second dart, that's the one we throw at ourselves. It's the endless worrying, the replaying it over and over, the anger, the regret. That second dart, that's the suffering. And the craziest part, it's completely optional.
Okay, so once we're grounded in the now, what's next? The next step is to start actively building the person we want to be. And we do that one thought and one action at a time.
I absolutely love this line from James Clear. Your identity isn't this fixed, unchangeable thing. It's just the sum of your habits. Every single time you choose to go for a walk instead of sitting on the couch, you're casting a vote for being a healthy person. Your identity is literally built on the evidence of what you do.
And you don't need to make some massive, heroic change overnight. The real secret is just aiming to get 1% better every single day. 1%. It sounds like nothing, right? But get this. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you're not 365% better, you're nearly 38 times better. That is the insane power of compounding.
Just think about it like building a wall. You know, one brick doesn't look like much, but if you just lay one brick consistently, day after day, before you know it, you've built a whole fortress. These tiny, consistent habits become the proof you show yourself about who you're becoming.
So how do we actually build these new habits? Well, it all comes down to understanding this simple four-step loop. First, there's a cue, which is just the trigger. That leads to a craving, the motivation. Then comes the response, the habit itself. And finally, the reward, which is the good feeling that tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. If you want to build a good habit, you just engineer the process. It's that simple.
So, that brings us to our third and final pillar, the incredible power of perspective. This is all about learning to change your world, not by changing the world itself, but by changing how you see it. And for this, we're going to lean on some ancient Stoic wisdom. So the core idea of Stoicism is pretty simple, but it's radical. It's about accepting what you can't change. You know, the traffic, the weather, what other people think of you, all totally outside of your control. But your reaction to those things, your judgment about them, that is 100% yours to command.
The Stoic philosopher Epictetus really lays it out. He says that blaming other people or circumstances is a sign of an untrained mind. A truly wise person gets it. The problem isn't the event, it's their reaction to the event. They take total ownership of their inner world.
So this boils down to the most important practical question there is. Forget everything else for a second and just ask yourself, in this whole, big, crazy universe, what do you actually have complete control over?
Here it is. This is your kingdom. Your mind, your choices, your actions, and the perspective you decide to have. That's the list. And you know what? Realizing this isn't limiting at all. It's the most freeing thing in the world. It means your happiness doesn't depend on anyone or anything else.
All right, let's pull all of this together. We've talked about 3 huge ideas, and now we're going to combine them into one final takeaway that you can start using literally the second this is over.
So here they are, the 3 pillars of your new reality. First, you master the present moment because it's the only place you have any real power. Second, you build your new self with small daily habits, casting votes for who you want to become. And third, you reframe your world by choosing your perspective because you control how you see things.
And here is the best part of all. This whole transformation, it doesn't require you to flip your life upside down tomorrow. The entire journey starts with something much, much smaller. It all begins with your very next conscious thought.
The past is done. The future isn't here yet. This moment, right now, is yours. You are the architect. You build with your habits, and you frame with your perspective. So the only question left, the only one that really matters is, what will you choose to think right now?